Greetings, friends, and welcome to Captain Samuel's Petroglyph Meditations. In October, we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, and I read Take Us to Your Chief, a collection of science fiction short stories blended with themes from the First Nations of North America. It's by Drew Hayden Taylor, who's from the Curve Lake First Nation in central Ontario. It was first published in 2016. Now, in his introduction, the author talks about how First Nations cultures tend to be stereotyped as nature-loving victims of oppression, and thus they often aren't paired with technology and ambition of science fiction. And the author is a First Nations member who loves science fiction, and he wrote this book to change those stereotypes. All the stories have an element of First Nations culture woven into them. For example, because the Kanyen'keha language is so different from surrounding languages, it turns out to have been placed there by aliens, and when a radio broadcast message is sent out into space in that language, it summons aliens back to planet Earth. It also talks about how being invaded and wiped out by technologically superior outsiders isn't a novel or fantastical idea to indigenous peoples. Another story discusses how a computer attains sentience and questions its programmers about the state of the world. When it discovers that First Nations people believe all things have spirit, but then that this perspective has been suppressed, it deletes itself rather than continue existing in a world that doesn't recognize it as being more than just an inanimate thing. All the stories aren't doom and gloom, though. The title story, Take Us to Your Chief, is lighthearted and fun. It's about how aliens first encounter a few Ojibwe guys who just like to sit around by the lake relaxing and drinking beer, and these laid-back guys become the ambassador for all humanity. So in terms of what I liked and didn't like about the book, well, the book got off to a bit of a rough start for me. The stories that I found a bit more boring and dry were all towards the front, and all the stories that I found fascinating and engaging were in the middle and the end of the book. My favorite two stories were Mr. Gizmo and Petropaths. Mr. Gizmo is about a teenager's toy robot who comes to life and prevents the teenager's suicide by talking to him about how important it is for First Nations to carry on and live in the world in a compassionate way. And to be honest, that story got me right in the feels. I really enjoyed it. Meant a lot to read that. And also, my other favorite story, Petropaths, is about a delinquent young man who's sent to an island to meditate on sacred rock carvings in a seashore cliff. And while doing that, he discovers something amazing about them, and this was another ending that was very touching and poignant. So for the most part, yeah, these stories were meaningful, beautiful, and interesting. The ones toward the front were a little bit dry, but overall, I had a good time with this book. I give it 5 stars out of 5 and recommend it. It's something unique and a worthwhile read. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well.